All right, Soulmates, Damar Hamlin continues to show progress as Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott recently addressed the media and provided an update on Hamlin's status.
Oh, yeah, it's a good look. Coach McDermott said the 24-year-old is now at the team's practice facility almost daily. As you remember, Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest on January 2nd during the first quarter of the Bills versus Bengals Monday Night Football game. The Bills are now set to play the Bengals again on Sunday. It is unclear if Hamlin will be in attendance.
The University of Southern California, fight on, announced that its track and field facility has received a name change to honor Olympic medalist Allison Felix. The school made the announcement this week saying the stadium will now be known as the Allison Felix Field. Felix enrolled as a student at USC in 2003 and received an honorary doctorate of humane letters in 2007. Despite never competing for the university, Felix said she was raised a Trojan. In more Allison Felix news, the Olympic track star was just sworn in as an honorary member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, along with gospel artist Erica Campbell, Patti LaBelle, hello, and Congressmember Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Hey, sorors. All right, rumor has it Beyonce is in Dubai for a private performance where she is reportedly expected to rake in $24 million. Now, according to Baller Alert, social media users in Dubai shared video clips where Beyonce could be heard rehearsing songs like Crazy in Love, Spirit, Drunk in Love, among other hits. While the Grammy winner was not visible in the videos, Atlantis, the Royal Hotel, could be seen from afar, where the performance is reportedly scheduled to take place.
Are you ready for some football?
Oh, yeah.
And pop culture? Well, the NFL has announced that Snoop Dogg and Pete Davidson are the two team captains for the 2023 Pro Bowl games. Snoop will run the AFC with Peyton Manning as head coach. Snoop, who performed during last year's Super Bowl, told reporters that he's prepared to come out victorious in the competition. The Pro Bowl games is a multi-day AFC versus NFC live competition that begins on ESPN Thursday, February 2nd. The top voted NFL players will compete in skills challenges, and so we love to see it.
Major League Baseball has a new couple of chiefs in town. Alan Porter and Adrian Johnson have become the MLB's second and third black umpire crew chiefs as the league announced retirements and promotions from the minor league. Porter made his big league debut back in 2010 and joined the permanent staff back in 2013. Johnson worked his first major league game back in 2006 and became a full-time big league umpire in 2010. Curran Danley was the first black crew chief back in 2020. He has since retired the 2021 season. Congrats to both of those guys.
The Grammy-winning musical Hamilton has sold out shows since its debut, but this history lesson with a touch of hip-hop may also be changing the look of Broadway forever. Take a look.
I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing.
This show is definitely more different than anything that you've ever seen before. There is an amazing, diverse cast. We've got amazing, diverse music, so there's a little something for everybody.
This show is about the life of Alexander Hamilton, who was one of our founding fathers, the first Secretary Treasury, and it is his story and his life told through the medium of hip hop and rap music, and jazz music and musical theater music, but it's essentially a history lesson with some hip hop added in. I play Alexander Hamilton. He was our founding father. He did a lot of amazing things that you'll see throughout the show when you come and see it. But the main thing, I guess, would be that he created our credit system as we know it today. Act 1 is more about the Revolutionary War, and Act 2 is more about the setup of our nation.
I mean, this is the story of our founding fathers. All of these characters are super flawed. All of them are involved in the unraveling and the nuances and the creation of our country as we know it now.
One of the major, pros of this show is the representation of it. I think that it has changed the theater dynamic. So now when you go see shows, you see a lot of colorful casting, because I think Hamilton was really the catalyst for that back in 2015.
Hamilton has brought in a whole new group of people who maybe have never gone to theater or liked theater before, musical theater.
I think it has allowed a lot of people who were not seen to be seen on stage and to see themselves on stage. I know that growing up, I didn't have a lot of shows to see myself in. So now being a part of a show that others can see themselves in is pretty important, I think.
I think it cuts across a lot of boundaries and gets to people so that it spurns interest, which is really, really cool. That you get people who would have never come to see any show, let alone Hamilton.
The look of Broadway and the look of musical theater was forever changed with Hamilton. You can see 1776, which is a show about the Founding Fathers as well, and it is an all-female cast. So I think it's already, really changed the fabric of not just theater, not just musical theater, but like entertainment, movies at large. And I think that Hamilton showed people that it could be done.
I came through here probably 20 years ago with Lion King, and I say Lion King is one of the most spiritual shows I've ever done, and Hamilton is the most important show that I've ever done.
I feel pretty proud being in the show because the show is so important, I think, not just to the musical theater world, but I think to the world at large. I think it's a very important piece of work. So I felt very proud being in this show, and being Hamilton, and on top of that is you can't beat that. Tampa audiences have been amazing. We've been having such a great time. So this is our invitation for you to come out. Don't throw away your shot to see our company perform Hamilton live.
Cast members say Hamilton changed the look of Broadway and the look of musical theater forever. Courtney, let me just say this: so much of an appreciation for theater and for what they're doing to change the face of Broadway. But let me just, harken back to the story that we just talked about the African American Studies class, the AP African American Studies class not being taught in Florida because of Governor DeSantis. You can't really have an appreciation for the genius of Hamilton, without a knowledge of history. And this is why it's so important that, we tell the truth when we tell our history, our American history, not just Black history, but our American history.
Which is Black history.
Yeah.
And vis-a-vis. Let's just be honest here. I love that piece. That was a great package. And I know my first, experience viewing a Broadway play. I was a little gal, and our dad took us to New York for vacay, and we were able to see The Wiz. So I didn't know any different that there weren't a lot of, Black folks on Broadway. I think back in that era, it was like The Wiz and Dreamgirls, far but few between. Not a lot of Black folks, especially in the lead. And so my first, image of Broadway was 16-year-old Stephanie Mills and all those other wonderful actors and actresses portraying The Wiz on Broadway. So for me, I've always thought that, that's what was happening. But obviously, as you mature and you see pieces like this, it is still, there's still a push to make sure that we are properly represented on Broadway, big screen, little screen. And it's good to see.
That's right. It's especially good to see them creating opportunities for Black folks on Broadway, because for a long time it was hard.
In untraditional
it was hard,
roles.
For folks to get, whether it was traditional roles or even just, being an understudy on Broadway. That was tough. And so it's good to see that progress.
It makes you watch the Tonys now too.
Yeah.
I've tuned into the Tonys now too.
Yeah. Lots to see. Well, still ahead, Black Excellence is next, and today it's filled with even more Black girl
That's
magic.
right. Don't you go anywhere. We're watching FOXSOUL's Black Report. It's Friday, baby. You ready for your weekend?
I'm ready.
I know I am.
You ready?
Oh, yes.
You stay ready.